Hey everybody, it's Gypsy. As some of you might know, I mostly use homemade cosmetics. Today I'm going to show you how I make my homemade blush or rouge, whatever you call it. My only problem is I'm out of my favorite colors that I usually like to use. But anyways, we're going to get started here. It's very easy, very simple. You could use what's in your pantry. Very economical. Okay, so what we're going to need is a bowl and a spoon. Also, you're going to want a container to put your blusher in. You will need, I have a big bucket here of it, but you know, shea butter. Okay, now for your base of the powder, you can use arrowroot powder or cornstarch. Both work equally well, many feel, and so do I. Arrowroot is slightly more silky, but it's really not a huge difference. So either one will do. And let's see, so for your colorings, to dye your blush or powder, the very first time I made this, which I want to say was probably around, I don't know, 2017, 2018, I used Indian madder roots, annatto seed powder, I used cinnamon, cocoa powder, and 2 capsulefuls of activated charcoal. So these will come up with various shades. Now, as I made it, I started to simplify it. Now, my biggest problem was after this point, when I first made it, I became a nomad, and I traveled the country living in my travel trailer. Well, every climate I was in was different, and so I had always had a varying degree of a suntan because I was always outside. So when I lived in the desert and I spent most of my time there, I had a very dark tan. So I don't have a tan anymore. So it's hard to say what shade I should use at any given time. It's like I have to experiment. So my biggest problem is my favorite to use is madder root, and just madder root, no other color. It seems to work well for me, except I'm out of it. I thought I still had some, but I can't find it. I am also out of annatto seed powder. So I do have to order more of those. So I'm thinking I will work with what I have. So we'll do that. The first thing you want to do is add 4 tablespoons of either your arrowroot powder or cornstarch. Let's see, do I have my tablespoon? Yes. So put this in. Okay, I ran out of arrowroot powder halfway through, so I went and hunted down some cornstarch. Okay, that's 4. So for me, the hard part right now, especially since I'm out of my favorite colors, is to decide what colors to use. Now, if you like a more pink color, you want to get some beetroot powder. You can get this at Mountain Rose Herbs. Bulk Apothecary, I think, carries it. Or if you know somebody who grows beets, you can get a beet, cut it up, dehydrate it, and then grind it into a powder. Now, the thing with this is it's always comes out more of a pink. You have to add an awful lot of this to get it dark. In fact, with any homemade makeup, especially blush, you're going to come up with a more subtle color. It's not going to be like something you get in the store. Okay, it's not going to be really darkening your face. It's going to have a very natural look to it. So this is a good one to use. Me, it comes out too pink. Pink does not seem to work very well with me. I don't know, mine, well, now that I'm not in the desert, I don't know what I'm going with here. Anyways, I think, all right, I might try a little bit, just to get a little red or pinkish in there. I'm going to add a little bit of my beetroot powder. I did once, I have a friend, she was growing beets one year. I don't like to eat beets, I don't. But she gave me this huge one, and I made a whole bunch of beetroot powder just from that one beet. So that was good. I'm gonna try a little bit more than this. Yeah, I didn't realize I did not have my favorite colors. Okay, so that's the beetroot powder. I hope the colors are coming out true to color on the camera. So once you mix it, you see it gets a lot lighter. Okay, and it does take a lot for this to be like a really, really pink. Okay. Now since reds and pinks, for whatever reason, don't look good on me, I think I might add just a little bit of cinnamon. I wouldn't go too heavy on cinnamon because I think there's a possibility, and I've never had it happen, it could be irritating to the skin. So you do want to test that, especially if you have sensitive skin. Be careful with what you use. But in pretty much any spice in your pantry, you can use to color your blush or any type of makeup you might be making. It is very simple, very easy. If you're used to using store-bought makeup, the color difference, I think, could be something it's going to take you some getting used to. Okay. So, there is no way this is going to show up on me. This, I don't know, maybe my daughter-in-law, because she is very light. She has blonde hair, is gorgeous, like alabaster skin, and so this might show up on her. I think this might look good on her. I'm gonna have to test on her one day. Really, make some blush and stuff and see how it looks on her. She doesn't really wear makeup all that often, but it'd be fun just to see, because she has like sort of the opposite coloring than I do. Now, I have a bag full of, this is activated charcoal. Do not use like charcoal briquettes that you put in your grill. Never ever use that. Activated charcoal you get like from an herbal store, an apothecary. It is used for like digestive issues. So I'm gonna put a little bit in here, see if I could darken it up a little bit. Maybe I can come up with something I like. Yeah, it's just without, I used to have the most beautiful tan in the desert. It was so nice, I loved it. Let's see. And activated charcoal is very messy. You can get it in bulk or in capsules. So, I'm gonna put a little bit of activated charcoal. See what that does. Now sometimes, if you mix it too much especially, it almost has like an ash look, like you took something pink and threw it in the fire and took it out like right as it's turning into ash. So this, I'm not so sure I like this color because it turns out more of a grayish. I used it to darken it up a little bit for my complexion. It's not working. So I'm gonna try some cocoa powder. See what that does. We're just playing around here. Because I haven't had to make this in a long time. Now I'm living in a different climate. I have no tan, and I'm out of some of my stuff that I use for this. Okay, so that tones down the kind of ashy, grayish look. Okay, I think I might put in a little bit more of my beetroot powder. Let's see. See if I could get like an, don't really want a red or a pink, but just kind of like a natural color for me. You know, not like a blatant red or pink. It never worked well for me. Usually if I do use a pink base, I need to mix like other colors to tone it down. I don't know, this is kind of looking like, almost like what I used in the desert, except more for like my foundation. Of a natural color, I mean. Yeah, that's gonna be very pale on me, I think. I don't know if you can see it, probably not. It's gonna be a very pale color. So, I mean, you just have to use your imagination, keep trying it on and playing with it. I had this down pat until I went to realize I ran out of blusher, and it does last a long time. So last time I made it, I was living in New Mexico on the Llano High Desert. And what did I, that time, oh my gosh, it was 3-4 days before I fell and broke my legs. Broke my leg. That time I used just beetroot powder, which is surprising. But the time before that, I used just madder root. And according to my notes, because I keep notes in this every time I change it, the madder root is my favorite. It's best for my complexion. And I made that in February of 2022, which means I was in the low desert. I was in the Sonoran Desert in Arizona, quartzite. So yeah, it would have been a different color. Now, a little better. Looks like I'm gonna have to get more beetroot powder. Okay, a little bit more beetroot. I'm just throwing it in now. I mean, it doesn't really matter what your measurements are unless you want to keep like an exact thing. For me, it's the time of year. So yeah, this doesn't look like, you know, pink or red. It does have a lot of the beetroot in it, but for some reason that straight color of red doesn't usually look good on me. I think that's why I didn't say I liked that color last time I made just beetroot. This combination is a little better, but the next time I make it, it's going to be another time of year. So I'm going to tell you what we do next here. After you have the color you want 2 teaspoons. Now, this is depending on how much you end up with here. Obviously, I had to add a lot more beetroot and stuff, so I have a lot more powder in here. So if you just have the normal, like an average amount in here, you're going to want to add 2 teaspoons of shea butter. I am going to probably, so my camera went on strike again. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but I'm wondering if I hold this closer, if you can see the true color, because I noticed when I have it down here, it's not showing the true color. I hope it does here. Anyways, so I'm going to put in more shea butter than it's calling for. Now my shea butter that I'm using today is organic unrefined shea butter. So I don't know if you could tell on camera, it's not white, it's more of a yellow, and it kind of has a little bit of a grit to it because it's unrefined. So you're going to put your shea butter in here, and then neighbor just pulled in, let's hope my dog doesn't bark. You're going to kind of like press with the back of your spoon till you get it all incorporated. Now it's not gonna, it's still gonna seem dry and like a powder because there's just enough shea butter in here to allow it to stay on your skin once you apply it. Okay. So you're just going to keep doing this until you get to the point that it's all together. Also make sure like your beetroot powder or anything doesn't have any clumps in it. So I think I pretty much got in there. So what you're going to do then is you're going to find your clean container. Now I apply mine, I have a little makeup brush or blush brush, you know, the kind that are on an angle. So now I made so much this time, I'm not going to have room in here. So I'm going to put this in a glass jar and save it for when I run out. So I'm good for quite some time here with my blusher. So it's very easy. The hardest part is figuring out the combination for your skin. You just have to play around, and depending on the time of year, you're going to have to change it up if you spend a lot of time outside. So I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.